Think we're live. There we
Good
go.
morning, everybody. Good afternoon to my friends in Europe. Good morning, Leisha.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Not too bad. Pretty up and down day for the market, huh?
So
Um,
far, but I can tell you why if you really want
I
to know.
yeah, I do want to know in a second here. I do want to know. Hi, folks. I'm Mark Sebastian. I am your only option, and I'm joined by our Queen of the Candles. She is Leisha J. Leslie, and today we're going to go through a few things. We're going to just give you a real brief update on where my three levers are, and then I've been talking to you about the fact that Leisha says resistance is here. Leisha says resistance is here. Leisha says support is here, and I've been calling them Leisha's levels. Well, I thought, well, today's the perfect day, post an inside day on Monday, to have Leisha come in and share the levels that she's looking at in SPY and why. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how she's using pitchforks in, kind of across the facets of her trading. So I'm excited to have her here. Let's start.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Let's start with where we are with this market. Justin, if you want to swap screens here. SPX is flat as a pancake. You're getting a marginal move higher out of the triple Q. Dow marginally higher. VIX down. I continue, and I'm going to talk about VIX here real briefly. I continue to believe that there's a real chance we enter a full contango by the end of the week. So let's kind of just run through things. Why are we holding firm? Remember, if you're watching the stock market and you're not watching the bond market, then you are actually not watching the stock market. Bonds lead. We continue to see strength out of TLT. Gets over the 50, starts playing above 90. I'm going to feel pretty confident that at least the near-term risks from the bond market collapse back in early April are past us. Looking at the VIX, I told you, I want to continue to see the VIX soften up. But look at this VIX term structure. 30 cents between May and June is now trading on par with July, maybe even a little bit below. So we're starting to see this curve normalize. So you can see where the cash is. We're going to see this curve do this. And this is going to drop. However, I expect to see VIX itself over the futures for the next few days, which is going to be give a little bit of keep a floor in some of these volatility ETPs. And last but not least, we've got the Russell 2000. I want to see it lead, not leading today. It was leading yesterday, but I continue to believe that if the market's really going to show some strength here, that you're going to see the Russell 2000 rally. I like it up to $200 by Friday. That's kind of my target. So keep an eye on the Russell. And there you have it, folks. You can see we've gone green kind of across the board, except the one that I think is going to go, that I think should be green. And VIX is kind of getting demolished. So there's kind of our three livers. We continue to be in a spot where, the market is telling us it is calming down, that it is starting to breathe. Not out of the woods, but the market is definitely telling us it is starting to breathe. So keep that in mind as you are playing in this market. There's no reason the VIX has to go back to 30 or 35. So now, on the other end, do I think it's going to be a rip-roaring rally back to 6,100? No. But 50, a nice steady move back to 5,800, I think could be in the cards. And there you have it, folks. So with that in mind, let's loop Leisha back in. Leisha, you just listened to me yammer for a good 5 minutes there on what I think about the market.
Yep.
Swap to her screen. What? Let's start with SPY. And you said I know why we're hitting some why we're kind of stuck.
That's right.
Why don't you
Look
talk
at how
why
beautifully SPX is following this pitchfork. Held it down here on the main support down there. Kind of paused a little bit here at the resistance. Now we're up against the median line. We're actually trading through it. Remember, folks, you can use the 5-minute, you can use the pitchforks on your 5-minute chart also. I have this SPX 5-minute pitchfork that goes back to Wednesday. Look how well it follows that. We have a little cross intersection of the 5-minute median line and the daily median line. This is what I'll be watching all day today. I will be by the close, I should say. I'll be watching for a close over this median line, say 55.37. We get a nice close over that. We have an 80% chance of trading to the top of this channel. That takes us to 58.20. Now, we may not make it in 2 days. We may meander, as Mark would say. I almost called you Grant. But yeah, according to the pitchfork rules, we close up in there, clear the most recent highs. We have an 80% chance of trading the other end of the channel.
There you go.
So I am watching that. Watch 55.37 and close above that today in SPX. Yes.
So
yes,
Lisa,
is fine. Yeah.
All right. So you just showed the proof. We've already showed the proof of why. Let's go back to SPX real fast.
Sure.
We've already shown the proof of how these things work. Can you give everyone kind of a 30-second, like, what is a pitchfork, and then maybe 30 seconds on the history, where they came from, that piece of it, because not everybody here has even seen or heard of a pitchfork. This is a trading technique that I like to say it's so old that it's new again. It's like how all the kids are wearing Birkenstocks again for the first time in 25 years, and Sambas.
Which are ugly.
They
Sorry. Anyway, yes. Pitchforks were hand drawn back in like 1920s. One of the original guys, there were 3 guys that developed them together. One of the original guys predicted the crash of 29. Another one of the guys, they were economists, they were mathematicians, they were also higher up guys. They knew the presidents and all that. FDR asked one of them what he thought the market was going to do in the next 15 years. And he literally hand drew the pitchforks and told him what the market was going to do for 15 years. And sure enough, you put it side by side, it's almost perfect what he predicted, which is amazing.
That is amazing.
So they're very simple. They have very few rules. And they work. They're pretty cool. But as I said, they're older. Not sure why they're not so popular, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay if,
100%
using them.
Yeah.
But you can see the history of how it follows, which, Mark, we need to talk about Costco. My 2024 stock pick. Every year, our option pit traders pick a stock, right? 2024, here we are, December, January. I chose Costco. And I said Costco is going to trade from 640 to 1,000 to the top of my pitchfork. And sure enough, here's 2025. It happened here. In December 12th, right around mid-December, it traded 1,000, right at the top of my pitchfork.
Wow. And
pretty
so
cool.
When I'm looking at the pitchfork, the median line is like kind of the middle price for all of this.
Yes.
The green line is kind of like the green area is kind of, within normal range of the median line. and then the blue areas are when the market is. Stop me if you think I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, the blue areas are when things are stretched. Is that
Yes.
a fair assessment?
That's a fair assessment.
All right.
But it could trade at any and all of those areas.
All right. So, Leisha, this is amazing. You you're looking at a pitchfork, and you pick up Costco. You say, I'm buying Costco, very beginning of 2024, at the bottom of this pitchfork. And then over the course of 360 some odd days,
Yeah.
it goes full cycle, where if you just close your eyes, it did follow it higher.
Yes, it did.
And ended up literally touching the top and touching exactly 1,000. Pretty darn amazing.
Yeah.
Now, Leisha, you're doing a kickoff
That's right. I have
class
some new.
today. Why don't you talk to people? Why don't you talk to me about what you're doing today?
Yes, I have. So, Option Shoppers, we meet every Tuesday at 1:00 for our shopping spree. We have some new members joining us today. We're going to review pitchforks, a quick little review to make sure people are understanding them. And then I'm going to reveal about 4 or 5 stocks that I see this right now. The same idea that Costco was down at the bottom of the pitchfork and could rally back to the top. I'm seeing a handful of stocks here that I think this longer term will trade from the bottom of the pitchfork back to the top. So I'm going to reveal those stocks. We'll look at a short-term trade, which we always do. We always have a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
We look at trade ideas, and then I take chart requests at the end. It's a very fun hour.
That is a fun hour. Now, was there any stocks that you wanted to talk, like maybe one that you're kind of looking at? Maybe not the one you were going to
steal one out of me?
Yeah, I'm going to squeeze one out. I think, hey, well, we'll see. Do the people here, folks here, do you want Leisha to reveal one of her stocks? All right. Let me know if you do.
I just pulled it up.
So I'm gonna guess that the answer is people are gonna want you to do that, but
I think AI is way down at the bottom.
Oh yeah,
and forming a bottom down here, moving away from that support. And the beauty as option traders, we don't have to just go out and buy the stock and go through the ups and downs while it works its way all the way back up here. With our guidance of our pitchforks, we can hop into some calls, hit some resistance, take our money off the table, get some proof of the stock continuing its rally, hop back in to the next level, take your money off the table, close and roll, right? That's the beauty of option traders. We can close and roll and ride it all the way back up here. That's my plan.
I like it. C3 AI. This is one I see it super active on the paper side.
Oh, is it? Good.
Oh yeah. There's a trader that trades like weekly options on AI up and down. So like he or she does this like cheapy call spread. When it wins, they kill it and roll it, and they'll ride it all the way up. And then once one of their call spreads loses, they flip to put spreads, ride it down. And then, once one of those put spreads loses, they switch back. It's an interesting strategy. I don't know how profitable they are. So I'm going to have to take a look. I'm not so sure they're making a lot of money doing what they're doing. Just because somebody trades size doesn't mean they trade smart, folks. You've got to, over time, and at least you'll remember that, this, over time, when we were on the floor, you started to know who the customers were that were trading the different stocks, right? Like this same customer did the same trade once a month. We were like, oh, hey, Stu's back with, whatever.
Yes, Stewie. I remember Stewie.
Yeah. You see the same thing, though, when you watch large block orders going by every day. You see the same kind of patterns. So All right. So let's another name people are wanting to talk you to talk about, because you've been so dead on with it, is Palantir. Is that's
Oh, yeah.
that thing that I'm guessing that's not at the bottom of your pitchfork right now. It is not, because that thing has been a beast. But a lot of traders are asking me, where does Leisha see Palantir going next? Because you basically called it going to 110. It went straight there. And then it started to rally
104.
again.
It was
People want to know,
104,
where
105.
does it end?
We have a very nice call vertical and option shopper right now along the 108, 118 call vertical, because I'm expecting it to trade up here to 119. We got in just over $3 and it's trading 560 right now. Our goal is around $7 to get out of that. We'll probably get out about 6.5. One more little push here, and I'll probably close that call vertical. But yeah, you can see, as I said, once you clear that resistance, and on the downside, it'd be the support, clear the most recent highs, you have an 80% chance of trading to the other end of the channel. So price targets, it's all about your price targets, right? For your trading plan and your decision-making on option trades that you're going to take. So yeah, we're looking for Palantir to trade 119.
All right.
Traded 1582 today.
Yeah, it's just been an absolute beast.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've kind of really dug into the history of these, of pitchforks, let's circle back to SPX and take another look at it and talk about, where are the levels? Ooh, Merck.
Well, we have some calls in small account challenge and Merck. Getting close to our target. I got
Nice.
the original Boo Man talking about it.
So yeah, getting back to SPX. Now that people, I think, feel like have some real context around these, why don't you walk us through again, kind of, what are you watching on a daily for kind of different levels?
Yeah.
And then if you want, we can come back and look at the 5-minute. Totally okay with that.
Yeah, as I said, we are consolidating here. Now, when a stock reaches a support or resistance level, it can do one of three things. At the moment, it is consolidating, but it's also honoring that median line. So we could technically roll lower and trade back down, and this gap would provide support. Or we are consolidating, gearing up to get that momentum going again to close over the median line. And we will have a little resistance just above here because of this gap. It hasn't not been closed completely. So right above here, 55.71 will be a little resistance. We could tap that and come back down. So there's several things going on here that we need to watch. But always remember, the close is more important than intraday. You want to see the close below or above that support resistance level. Now on ES, you always got to go back and look at ES. It trades longer hours. ES just yesterday closed above that downtrend line going back to the beginning of the sell-off in February. And what we have, little spinning tops here. Again, consolidation up against this resistance right here, these previous highs. Once we clear that, 55.60, we may get some resistance here, 56.25, but I can see it going up here, 57.15 on ES.
Well, yeah, and ES trades almost 24/7, so
yeah,
you will get some different charting out of ES because of the constant trading versus SPX that's open 6.5 hours a day.
Yep.
So ES isn't going to have the same kind of gaps and things along those lines.
Now you were talking about bonds. Bonds definitely look bullish, Mark.
What was that?
The bonds definitely look bullish.
Yeah, I mean, that's really been the key to this whole thing. And what I've been watching is, the bond market, when you look at when we were falling apart, when we were lows, people are worried about the market really falling apart. It's been the bond market that's been the catalyst. So that's really been the key. The fact that TLT and IEF have really made a nice strides back, threatening back above 90. That is a decent sign that the market's going to be able to stabilize. Obviously, we still have headline risk from tariffs, but one of the things about, Alicia, you like this analogy, right? Alicia, did you like horror movies when you were a kid?
Oh
When you were
gosh,
in your
yeah.
teens?
The Exorcist scared me half to death. Yes.
All right. So were you in like grade school when Halloween came out? Were you in?
Oh, Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Halloween with Jason. That was scary.
Yeah.
I was not in grade
no,
school.
Halloween
No,
is
Mark. I
Michael
was
Myers.
much older.
Yeah. Halloween is Michael Myers.
Yes.
Okay. So we can do Jason. That's Friday the 13th. All right.
Okay. That one scared me too.
All right. So Friday the 13th, part 1, right? That scared you, right? Because you were like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
At the camp and all that. Yes. That was very
Oh, yeah.
scary.
Now, I don't know if you saw Friday the 13th, part 7, Jason Takes Manhattan. But would you imagine that Friday the 13th, part 7, Jason Takes Manhattan would scare you as much as the original Halloween?
No.
No, not even close.
No.
Not even close. Now, that is what we're starting to see out of the tariff talk.
Right. Right.
All
Great
right.
analogy.
A month ago, Donald Trump was tariffs are coming, and then you hear,
yeah. That was
now,
scary.
Yeah, and now it's tariffs take Manhattan. It's tariffs take Manhattan or tariffs in space. I think that's another one.
Hey, Declan,
so
can I call you back?
The point is that I think some of the real fear from tariffs, the long-term effects could absolutely long-term be a weight on the market. But the volatility shocks, the fear shocks we get out of tariffs are probably ramping down. As long as the bond market stays firm, we're probably not seeing a VIX over 35 again. Might not see a VIX over 30. Over 30, completely possible. 35 is going to be a little tough here. And
how are you, Steve? Tariff NATO. That's hilarious.
Yes, exactly. We need, Donald Trump is Ian Ziering, buzzsawing Chinese imports. But my point is that peak fear is over. Doesn't mean the market goes straight up. In fact, it almost never does.
Right.
But, stop being, if you hear a new tariff rumor, it's not going to have the same effect as it did last week. We would need here's a headline that would actually tank the market, right? Xi and Trump get in heated argument in face-to-face meeting, kick dirt on each other's shoes, leave him, fly back to home country. All right, we'll get some serious selling there. But outside of something like that, these little rumors and tidbits are not going to move markets the way they have over the last month.
Well, they roll out Besant has to just calm things down, right? Whenever he begins to speak, the market calms down. They like when he comes out.
Oh, they love him.
Yes.
Well, he's a Goldman guy. He knows how to say it. He knows how to
exactly.
say it. Hey, guys.
It's amazing that revolving door between the government and Goldman Sachs, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it absolutely is.
It's incredible. There's a ton of them.
So anyway, the point is we're going to need something new to get another scare. All right, folks, you have Alicia for about 3 more minutes. Any questions for her before I set her loose on option shoppers?
Oh, The new prime minister in Canada was a Goldman guy too. That's hilarious.
Who ended up winning that? The Liberal Party?
I believe so.
I thought
Yeah,
the
Mark
election was
Carney.
today.
I knew the name. I didn't know.
I thought the election was today. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Would I consider redrawing the pitchfork to include the latest low on PLTR? The latest low. Well, I kept this pitchfork because of this area right here. I paused trying to get back in there, retested it, and coming back down right here. I like this pitchfork. I would add maybe a channel down here if it trades back down there. A parallel channel is always nice, but this pitchfork from the day it begins is a good one. So that's why I'm keeping it. I don't want to redraw it yet.
There you have it. Looking good. All right. So, all right. Who does Hans think wins the cup now? We're not Hans. You can ask him on Friday. Hans will be here tomorrow. CLN says great call on IBM.
Oh yeah, nice move.
Very nice move.
That's great.
Absolutely.
239 today.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to.
You're welcome.
close some IBM calls here. I'm gonna have to close some IBM calls, Alicia. We have
Good
those May in Ticker Highlight Show. We had the May 23rd. Ticker Highlight Show is Mondays after this. So if you're not staying for that, you're missing out.
All right.
Yesterday, Alicia and I came up with buying the May 23rd 235 call for $5. And overnight, it's already $7.70. I am going to take my money because 50% overnight.
Yes.
I'd be a fool not to close it.
Yes, you would.
Thank you, Alicia. Great trade, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, if you've not gotten a chance to join Alicia in her masterclass and you've not gotten into Option Shopper, now's the time to change that. Alicia, why don't you once again give everyone a real recap of what you're going to be going through with this in the class?
Yes.
And tell us why now for Option Shopper.
Well, every Tuesday we meet for our shopping spree. We have a lesson, and our lessons are pitchforks, candlesticks, reading the charts, trading options, delta, gamma. We cover everything. Risk, reward, trade plans, all kinds of stuff every week. And then we look at new trade ideas. We review our positions. And then I take chart requests at the end. And we generally trade 2 to 3 trades a week. It's awesome.
Yeah.
We have fun.
So join Alicia today. You can click the link here.
Today I will be revealing, I forgot, I will be revealing those longer term ideas today.
Yeah, she has. She's going to hand out a great longer term idea. So you've got to join today to get in on that. You can click this link. You're already a member of one of let's say, Small Account Challenge or Delta Strike or something like that. Give Ted and Drew and Ted's team a call, 888-872-3301, and he will take very, very, very good care of you.
Well, thanks, Mark. Thanks, everyone.
Yes. So there you have it, folks. There's Alicia's levels. We'll be back tomorrow. Andrew's going to be covering some intense funness in the volatility index. So we're going to do a little dive there. So make sure you join me tomorrow. So for Alicia, J. Leslie, the Queen of the Candles, I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. We hope you have a great Trading Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.